to filming that. I bought this easy scribe. Some people go, oh yeah, but you know, you have this gap up here, but if you little thing here that nobody got back to me about, so oh, that's nice. What's that? It's a fun one.
Good morning. It's Monday morning. Yeah, thanks for everyone recently that's been subscribing. It's been amazing. I've had a real influx of people now. It's been great, and just loads of people messaging me on like different platforms. It's been lovely. I'm starting that kitchen job that, if you've been following the videos, we've been making it now for the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, might even be longer, I don't know, amongst other stuff. Some filmed, some not, but basically, yeah, the kitchen, got some of it on the van. I've got to go in there, rip out the old kitchen. So job number 1 is got to protect everything, got to protect the hallway. Spoken to the customer, made sure I can film. I'm doing this outside the house at the moment just because they've just had a baby, and I think they're just getting ready to sort of go out for the day or the week. I'm not really sure what's happening, but basically I'm in a situation where I've just got to be quiet for a little bit, so I'm not going to pick up the phone, do any filming. I'll probably wait on time lapse, just me ripping out the kitchen, I suppose. Basically, if you're new to the channel, essentially this is what it's about. I'm on a job. I'm now going to probably film a little bit of what I do, then I'll pick you up as and when, talk about a little bit of what I've done or what I'm going to do, then do a bit more filming. Kind of just goes full circle like that. Probably isn't the best sales line for it, but basically the thing that does make it a little bit interesting is I make a lot of the stuff I do, and I guess, like, I don't know, I think it's interesting. So yeah, come along for the ride. Yeah, like and subscribe, all of that. Just I don't know, well, don't like and subscribe yet if you're new. If you've been watching them and you like them, then like and subscribe now. This is your chance, this is the time. If this is your first time and you're still listening to this is for you, mate, I'm telling you, straight off the bat. If you've switched off, you've gone. But if you're thinking about switching off, I'll give it a minute, because I might do a little bit of music with me doing something. Anyway, it's up to you, bottom line, you know what I mean? No license fees here. Right, see you in a bit. That was a quick day, wasn't it? Not too bad at all. Right. Yeah, it still was actually a full day because of obviously what you didn't see was I've taken all the rubbish out. And then I sort of do it a little bit different. Well, not I just do it the right way. I've worked with so many people over the years. They just smash the hell out of the kitchen to get it out. But I try and take them out as full units, because then you can just take them all outside and it's a lot easier then to put them on your van. You can break down what you need to break down and like stack your van rather than just over. I've seen people, they smash the hell out of it, pick it up, take it outside, have to drop it on the floor, then put it in the van, then they can't fill it all in. Whereas I do it slightly different. I just take them out as full units and I actually put them on the drive and I leave them there till the end of the day. And I'll tell you why I do it, because people come and get them. People walking past, and they'll just go, oh, you're throwing those drawers and that unit, and you just go, oh yeah, you can have them. So I've actually got rid of 2 drawer units and a slim cupboard, you know, for nothing. Yeah, and I chop out for all the electrics and the pipe works. I've chopped out a bit for some plumbing, chopped out for some electrics, done all that ahead of the electrician, because then I'm making the mess for him and I'm tidying it up before I go. So theoretically I should be able to go in tomorrow and just start fitting. Yeah, so yeah, be back in the morning fitting. Good morning, Tuesday. Right, that's what I've got to so far. I'm going to jump on now and try and get these face frames in. I've just, you can sort of see the room. It's a bit of a nightmare for, it's actually a decent sized room to be fair, but by the time you bring all the stuff in, and you have to stack it somewhere, and then work is pain. So I haven't had to, still have my bench on the floor at one point. So basically now I've got everything in place. It does need a little bit of final adjustment. I've got to set that unit. I can now go along and put my face frames, put my panel on for the dishwasher, put the drawer fronts on. You'll notice that I put a batten on the wall. That's just because I'm making the units, I can make them to suit putting a batten on the wall for each job, rather than, you know, knocking out hundreds like obviously kitchen firms. So I do that so that in situations like, well, there's a good example actually, like there, or actually down here, down the back of the fridge, sink, sorry, there's a batten all the way around, and that just means that the worktop's got something to sit on when it's behind the sink, rather than you having to put a batten on in between the units. Just do it all first thing. It's kind of easier to fix your units because you've just got a constant fixing wherever you want, almost like a rail. Probably could come up with a slightly improved way with a jig and a router actually, just having like a little L shape. I thought about it before, taking your kitchen units, say this is one, and just having a router set up with a jig just for an L shape out the back for a bit of a certain size timber. Sort of IKEA do a similar system with a metal rail. So, but anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait you back on time lapse. Just really for the rest of this little bit, seeing how far I get. Ideally, I want to try and have this panelling around the fridge because that sets all of that. I've got to try and figure out fridge depth and stuff. It'd be nice to try and bring these in as well. You know, there's a lot of stuff you're not seeing, and that's basically
yeah, that's basically like me obviously loading the van, taking the rubbish and all stuff like that. I'm doing it by myself. My choice. I kind of felt like if I'd got someone in to help me, there's times when you're setting up. I mean, I might get someone next week, so it's going to go into next week. There'd be times where you just you explain to them what to do, and you think I'll probably just do it quicker. If it was a bigger kitchen, yeah, but it's just not big enough. You'd be tripping over each other in there. That's the way I see it anyway. And there's just no outdoor space. It's a lovely garden, but there's just no, when you open that door doesn't actually open all the way around, so you're kind of stuck in this little bit. And I can't, I won't take the dust in the house, obviously. I'll work through there. Right. I'll touch you in a bit. Well, I'll stop filming for a little bit, just purely because I'm behind this fridge. I've got no chance of filming that. I had to lose about 45 minutes. I had to cut this architrave back in situ. I always was going to scribe over the architrave because I knew it was out of level and I couldn't finish into it. It would look odd, and it would look odd to leave a gap, and I just thought I copied roughly the margin there when I set the kitchen out on the CAD. But the architrave, I didn't think about this, the architrave's out of level, so you're scribing in across the profile out of level. It didn't look very good, so I've just cut the architrave out and I'll butt for it, it'll look better. It's a shame, but anyway, can't really do the time lapse, so I guess I'll just show you how I do the scribing. Unfortunately, I've left the bloody 6mm slots. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, video up here, put it up there today, shall we? Yeah, I demonstrated how I did this. I put these 6mm MDFs in there, and then I butt the bigger panel on. But first, you've got to get this on the wall nice and level and square. So I'll put some angle brackets down. Yeah. And then basically I put that screw, then I'll screw that to the wall on the angle bracket. It's big, I've screwed it on big because it wants scribing about 20mm off. I'll screw it up and I make sure that I've got it screwed, you can see the laser on it. I make sure it's screwed plumb upright. Yeah, so it's plumb upright. It doesn't matter how far away from the wall it is as long as it's plumb. Now I'll put a bit of masking tape on just because it's pain to see. And I worked out that it wants to finish there on that pencil mark. So then you measure the difference. So from there to there is 21mm. Then once you've masking taped it, you set your scribe up at 21mm. And then you draw your line on it. Now the best way to set your scribe up, by the way, is to actually offer it on the bloody cables everywhere, is to offer it on the mark. Yeah. So basically, you'll set your scribe at 21mm and then you scribe it all in. I've already done it, as you can see, onto the masking tape. And then I'll jigsaw that, and then that will fit bob on. And when it's fit, see, there's two things there that are key. Oh, this is not going well. I need someone to help me really, but anyway. Two things that are key is your measurement, which is 21mm, that's got to be spot on. And I, again, don't measure it. Physically go to the pencil mark and to the edge of the board. That's the best way to do that. And your board, the most important thing, has to be level and has to be in the right place height-wise before you scribe, otherwise it won't work. Right, top tip. Right, good morning. It's a wet day, but that's all right because I knew that was coming. So what I've done is I've got all my stuff outside I don't care about, and this is the space we got. It's not too bad actually. I give it a little clean yesterday. I like to do that at the end of every day. Got all my tools now in the cupboards now. So today is going to be predominantly scribing in panels. It's surprising how long it takes. I've got to get that fixed above there. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to double check all my heights, make sure everything works out right. Got to do a bit of setting out because I've got to make sure this goes in the right place. Get that back on the wall, fit the dishwasher. I'm probably not going to film it, might just update you. I did a little bit on the scribing yesterday, whether or not I do that again, I don't know, but a bit more detail. But yeah, units are in, they look good. The drawers, I mean, sorry. So that's what we got. Oh, some dominoes in there. Look. Yeah. Quite quiet, aren't they? And just that little extra push and they'll shut themselves. You know, don't take the drawer out your hand or anything. It's quite a nice finish on them as well. Just see the wood grain. Obviously it needs a bit of a clean. Yeah. Hard to see in this light, but it's a decent finish. Yeah, clean that up. You can see that. I can't quite see it on that. See it there, in fact the camera picks that up. Where the light's coming into it, you see the grain running along the doors and the drawer fronts. That's why I like this. That's better, isn't it? That's why I like this tulip wood. Because it's really flat and stable, but you still see a little bit of the grain if you paint it correctly. Just a little bit. You don't want to see too much because then you end up, your panels don't match on the end, your end panels. end of the day. So I'll pan you around and show you what I've done. We've got the fridge in and framed round. I've got to make a little oak door, a veneer door to cover that, so they can still access it in the back. Got these on, and you see me scribe these in on the time lapse. I spoke a little bit yesterday about when I scribed this one in. And if you look at the scribes, they're sort of, there's not a gap on it, all spot on. And they always will be if you just apply that system I said yesterday. So what I've been scribing with on this one as well is this. I bought this Easy Scribe. Been dying to get something like this for ages, because I normally just use a compass. I've got this compass here, which is a Empire one, which you just adjust like that. You see I've wrapped masking tape around it because the bloody wheel scratches the wall. So does that sometimes. So I've wrapped masking tape around it. To be honest with you, just an ordinary compass is probably the best thing. And the simple reason being that you've got to have special bloody lead for all of these. I didn't realise they'd have special lead for that. I thought the pencil went in there. I mean, it is good, and it's nice how you can adjust it. You can adjust that forward and backwards. I do need to read a little bit more on it, because there might be some bits I'm missing. But it's got a special lead, which is why I stopped using this, because I ran out of bloody lead and I didn't order any. So I'll go back to the compass. And the compass is like, it's a great bit of kit. You just got to hold it steady. That's the only problem. Anyway, do I rate this? Yes, but I can't see how it's going to work for scribing and skirting boarding. Also, I noticed, if you are thinking about buying it and you're watching this one, absolutely perfect, no problems. But even like, say, this one here, where there's a bit of tile adhesive, it really affects it, because that's the reference point. You have to keep it flat. See, it won't slide down without knocking the adhesive off. What's it dirty now? I don't know whether you can pinch it out at an angle and use it like a compass, but I don't know how this wide bit here, I don't really know how that would get into a skirting board profile. Like say when I scribe these ones in. So it would, but it won't get into there, will it? So I'm going to have to use the compass. I think that's like 20 quid as well, maybe 30 quid, don't know. Anyway, I digress. So that's done. Oh, I've done over here, I've done the dishwasher. That's set and in, and the drawer for under the sink. Put the sink in as well. You'll notice with the dishwasher, I keep it low. Unfortunately, normally it works out about 55, 60 mil low, which this timber's 50 that way and 60 that way. But this one's can go a lot lower for whatever reason. I don't know why. But I'll just cut another piece of oak in here, run it along. Now the reason I do that is because when you open and shut the door, it's a common misconception that the height, because you always have to have a cutout on your plinth, for the door to miss it. You'll see that on most kitchens. Well, it's a common misconception that if you go higher, you're going to have less of a cutout. In fact, I've done kitchens where I've not had to cut it out at all, just by going as low as I can. And that's simply because if you imagine the dishwasher door right now is more or less at the bottom of this door. So the hinge is here, the knuckle of the hinge. And that knuckle of the hinge is throwing this not very far. But if the knuckle of the hinge was up here, because I'd lifted the whole dishwasher up, so the bottom of the door was higher up, the knuckle of the hinge would be higher up. So the bottom of the door would be further away from the hinge. So the throw point would be further. It would throw the door further. All you've got to do is just make sure that you set it so that you don't want, this door has obviously not got to hit the dishwasher. That's the most important thing. Get that. What I've learned over the years is get that as close to it is wanting to touch the dishwasher when it's open, and that will be the most optimum point for it not having to cut the plinth out. And the other thing is, some people going, oh yeah, but you know, you have this gap up here. But if you look, when that's got a solid, it'll have the worktop on anyway, and it'll have a solid piece of oak across there. And that, obviously that piece, it would normally be done in one. Or I might put a paint, I don't know, whatever I do. It doesn't look, it looks fine. But you know, by the time the worktop's on, in fact, if I pull that over, do you know what I mean? It makes no difference. Okay, you see this little bit at the top of the door. Again, is that a problem? I don't think so. And actually, on some of the books now, on the dishwashers, because a lot of them used to say set to the underside of the worktop. Well, fucking wooden worktops, the last thing you want is dishwasher touching it. Stone worktops, you can't fix into it. So just put the timber across, and it carries the granite as well, or whatever they're having, quartz. I think that's the right way to do it, and I couldn't give a fuck if anyone thinks it's not. Right, and then I've got to do this tomorrow. So that's all I've set myself up to do tomorrow, is this. And I've just had a little investigate just to make sure that Sparky can get his light over to where he needs to get it. I've just made sure it's actually a false ceiling, and I just wanted to see if there's any slack on the cable. There is almost enough, but I've also used another bit of cable to see if I can rod over, and I can pretty much get to where I need to get, because I think that's going to be more or less the position. That wasn't a very good goodbye, was it? See you tomorrow, guys. That's what you want, don't you? Shout out to those that know. I remembered. It's Friday. Not too bad for a week. I didn't pick you up today because all I did was this was my target. I say all I did, it's solid, it's to the wall. I'm happy with it. So doors, they're in the workshop, they've got to go on, put the pegs in, which if you look at this video, me describing that, I might even timestamp it so you haven't got to watch the whole bloody thing. Basically, I've come up with this nice little sort of design of these little insets with wooden dowels, and then they'll go into these bits of the shelves. Anyway, yeah, I think, considering Monday morning, this was another kitchen which I had to rip out and I've taken away all by myself as well. I don't think that's too bad. Yeah, it's pretty much like for like actually, really, when you think about it, except they've got rid of those wall cupboards. I'm going to replace those with the floating shelves which are in the workshop, which I've got to do. Yeah, drawers, cutlery inserts, banging. This little thing here that nobody got back to me about, so I had to make it up. Let's see what you think about this. So basically what I did, because I asked for help, what's wrong with you? You got no ideas. Anyway, I asked for help. That's what I'm doing it for. That, you just, I don't know why I'm doing it. But anyway, these little things here. So the idea is, I might have to trim them. Right, that drops in the right. Doing it left-handed while holding the phone, but basically drop them in there. That was easier, weren't it? And then they can have sort of any configuration if they've got like big, if they've got a wide spatula or fish palette thing, whatever it's called. Or down here they might want to put something slim, you see. Yeah, any configuration. I might leave it like that so they can just fanning around with it, and they're actually looking for all of them. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. What's that? It's a thumbnail. It's not. Yeah. I mean, that's it really. I might as well update you with what I've got, what's left outstanding, I suppose. So all my scribes are done, as you can see. Everything's scribed in against the wall. Looking good. Only problem with this one, actually, there is a slight issue with this. I made these panels 15mm over for scribing into the wall. Well, this wall is over 20mm out. So what I've had to do is I've had to just lean them back a little bit. Don't tell anyone. Although it's better to be leaning back and forward, obviously. I mean, talk about in wine though. How's he got that? His belly's in that wall everywhere. Yeah, so I've just got like, whatever that is, probably a 2mm gap at the top of that panel, and it's the same on the other corner. Luckily you don't see any of this because it's hidden. Why am I telling you? Anyway, so I've got the cornice to do next week. So that's there, up there, up there. I might cut that in the workshop because if I do, it means I haven't got to bring the miter saw in. I haven't brought the miter saw in yet. I've just been cutting everything with this actually. It is with the old what do you call it? Japanese handsaw. Just get a really fine cut. I haven't really had to cut much other than just all the feet down. And just cut cut all the frames to suit, just the trims and stuff really. So it's not like I've had to do any miters. Yeah, and the same with the plinths and that. I'll probably cut them in the workshop. No point. Then you just think I'll bring the miter saw in. Not that I'd use the miter saw for them anyway. Yeah. Oh, this is a nice drawer. So I've got to put that leads me on to the next thing I've got to do. Might have to clean that out. It sounded a bit gritty, didn't it? Don't know, maybe it's alright. Probably just gets empty and hollow. So I've got to put the bin in there, the pull-out ladder thing in there. That's all coming to me on Saturday. Plinth, cornice, waist. I've got to measure that now actually. Drop these shelves in, but I won't do that till I've painted. So I've got to paint. Everything's got to have one more coat by hand. Oh, I've got to make up here, because this was actually in another cupboard over here, and it wasn't very good, to be fair. It was no more accessible than that, trust me. It was behind the panel. I'll do that again because I was really noisy playing. Right, so up here we've got I've got to make a door for here, inside that cupboard, go behind the books. Now these electrics, these are all the isolations for all of the appliances, which is just odd. That's whoever's done it, but I can't rewire it without chopping it all in. So I spoke to the electrician. He's just like, he's got a continuing earth round somewhere, which I've chopped out for him. He's got to borrow something from here or something, I don't really know. And then over here, because we've got to change the direction, so I was hoping I could basically re-chase that in above, but there's just not enough. You can't get to it up there. I could technically run it along the ceiling line, but we sort of landed on me leaving slack in the cupboard. He's going to pull that slack back. He's going to terminate it there and put a blanking box on with a Wago box in there. It will just be a chrome blanking box. And it'll be behind stuff on shelves. It's just, basically all it's doing is telling you that there's something there, so don't drill to the left, right, above or below without checking, I guess. And then hopefully someone will open the box and go, there's cables going in both directions. Electrician's not amazing, I'm not massively happy about it, but that's it. They're not really that happy, are they? Yeah, and there's supposed to be a table here as well, which I was going to make. I'm going to use some London plain for it, but it's turned out to be too expensive. There's a lot of people that are offering it. They're just going to get it themselves, which is a shame, but such is. So I won't actually, or oak would have looked great. I won't actually get a finish on that, which is a shame. I think also I've got to move the light for them as well. Get Sparky to drop the light in there. I think really they maybe want to just live with it for a little bit. Same with the tiles, probably decide what they're going to do. I mean, white Metros really, isn't it? But white Metros in an oak table with black hairpin legs. That's the standard, isn't it? But whether or not they'll go for something else. Yeah, I've tried quite hard to film this. I sort of had a plan really. Why am I spinning around? Maybe in the workshop. Let's get a good backdrop. Blue. Makes my eyes pop. Yeah, so I've tried quite hard to film this, but it's been a bit of a bugger really, because it's tight for space. I forget this, Jobs, you haven't got as much room as what I've got in the workshop. Putting my camera up. I've had a bench in here, And if I'm forever having to like walk around it to get bits. Stop moving around, Matt. So I haven't done it. You know, I've tried. It's the one area I need to improve on. I feel like my filming, my workshop stuff's not too bad, and it's a shame because the fit out, there's a lot to the fit out, and there's a lot more variables. So yeah, you know, it is what it is. You get what you get. Yeah, thanks again. Fair few subscribers this week. I've done a bit of reading on it actually, and I need to do shorts, and I just find them so hard. I think there must be a way of me taking my videos and turning them into shorts, although it's a different orientation, so I've got to really Google that. But to be honest with you, by the time I edit the video and just see my kids and whatnot, and actually do some work, I ain't got time to do new stuff. So it's little by little, really. Yeah. Thanks for everything. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being there, watching. If you do watch, thanks for the messages. See you next week.